Hello everyone, welcome to day 139 of playing chess every day for you. Let's find the game. We're starting as white here, so e4. As always, knight to f3, and we can go into the Italian. We play d3 against this move. Hey, I can play a4 next. a4, a5 is always very good. Bishop out. That's okay, but I'll play a4, a5. My opponent lets me play a5, so now I'll bring my queen to b3 to attack this weakness. My opponent has to block somehow. Queen b3 for me looks very good. Hitting my bishop straight away is okay. I am seeing the knight. This knight is almost trapped. I could go back with my bishop and actually bring my queen to attack the center, which seems good. I'll go back with my bishop to a2, but then that would block in my, that would lose my pawn if I go to b2. But then I'd actually have a discovered attack on the knight, so I can actually go to a2 here. If my opponent takes, I take with check and pick up the pawn. I can now bring my queen to b3 to line up this battery. If they block this way, they decide to push. I could take. I could also just play this now, which is a big threat. And I'll go for this lineup. If they take, I go here. I mean, if they play d5, I just take. If they take here, it's a blunder. They can't take. The only way they can protect this is by castling, or castling's good. I could take here, but I could also sacrifice my bishop here. Taking isn't possible right now. I could take myself, but that just brings the knight in, which I don't like. But then if the knight takes, I take myself. So if I take and bishop takes, I can bring my own bishop. And if I take and the knight takes, I can take here, triple attacking this, which seems quite good. So I'll actually go here and take. But if I take, the bishop takes with check, which I don't like, so I'll make this bishop move first. And the knight can actually take here now, which I missed. I'll just go back with my queen, if the knight takes on a5. But if the knight does take, okay, my opponent goes for this. And now I can actually recapture with the knight, which is much different. If I take with the bishop, the knight takes here. I could take here, and if the knight takes, no, I'll just take here to attack this pawn. The knight takes, I go back, and I'm still attacking this. Actually, the knight can't take because now my bishop is here. So I think my opponent made a big mistake there. Now I'm attacking this pawn. If my opponent defends, I probably just develop my other knight. Targeting my queen is good. If I take here, they take my queen. I actually can't take anything else, so I could go to this square, but this doesn't attack anything, so I think I'll just go back to, I would say the home square, but I could block with my bishop, but that doesn't work at all. I can just go back one square. Still have these strong bishops. I'm still attacking this pawn. I'll probably take with the knight. Although taking with the bishop looks good. But the knight is just more active, so I really like my bishops this game. They're very strong. This pawn is also pinned, so I could potentially bring my queen in here. Knight jumps in. That's an annoying move. Could just slide my queen back up, but then, yeah, I could actually slide my queen back up. And if they play check, I'd take. But if I slide my queen back up, they can take. But then the rook would hang, so this move actually allows me to pin the knight to the rook. This move feels very weak, very bad. Taking isn't a good move, I think. Taking doesn't seem good for me. I think I can actually slide my queen up. If the knight ever moves to rook force, and so I can actually play this and threaten to take. I can play queen up, I'm quite sure, because actually queen up, the only thing I missed here is this check, which will be very terrible for me. So if I just go back, queen to b3 is a huge threat, but this has to be defended, so unfortunately I have to go back here first and castle. I am attacking this now twice, so I can't always take this. I need to castle my king now. And so my opponent takes, so this knight is actually trapped. The pawn is now hanging. This knight does attack my bishop though. If I take on here, I don't want to complicate the game too much. The knight doesn't have many squares. If I save my bishop, the knight's still hanging. I'm attacking another piece. I could take the pawn now for free, or I could just take here and still attack this, which seems good. Taking with the rook seems to be completely fine. I'm still attacking this. If they play this, I'll just improve my knight. I think I have to castle my king. Taking on e5 seems very good. I'm not sure what's best, taking with the knight or the bishop. I think taking with the knight is best. It's more active. They defend. I can actually push myself, but then this would fall. So I'll just castle here. I could bring my knight in this way, but castling just seems to be the best. This bishop can move now, but that's not so much of a problem. The bishop goes there to hit my rook, which is okay. Don't know why I should move my rook. I would like to move my rook here, just to support the center. These bishops are aligned now, they're very weak. I don't have any sacrifices here. I'll move my rook to this square. If the bishop slides back to attack me again, I'll just slide back down. I can actually play d4 now. Knight there. I think I just play d4 here, it's protected 4 times. And I can almost trap the bishop here. My opponent wants this, but I'm playing d4 now, so they can't play that. This move isn't possible either. And I can almost trap the bishop after I play h3. Taking seems wrong. I think I'd actually take with the queen to line up this. After this, I'd just move back. I think d4 is definitely the best move here. Just controls the knight. I'm threatening to win a pawn as well. And I'm threatening to trap the bishop after h3. Knight in. What? Why? Maybe they can... I'm not sure what that move was. I think I can just take. That just seems like a blunder. If the pawn takes, I can even take here. I'm not sure about that move. Recaptures, I can take here. I can just take in the center as well and go for this trade, which actually seems to be best. If I can get this, I can move one of the rooks and then take here. I can have an active knight also. If they kick my rook, I just take. This push doesn't attack my rook. They take, I just queen trade, simplify it down. A6 is hanging. I've taken the center. If they recapture, I take the queen straight away. They push, which is very interesting. I can just take if bishop takes, I take here. But then there's a fork. Take if bishop takes, maybe I have a knight move. I think I have a knight move now. This knight move, because if this moves, I have this. And if queen takes, I just take. So knight d4 seems best here. If the bishop goes here. But knight d4 if the bishop goes here, I just probably take. And I think I'm still doing good. Knight d4 now. Taking. I mean, taking seems to just win me a pawn. I do really like knight d4 though, with this huge fork, so I'll play knight d4. I'm up a piece. If this ends up being very bad for me, that's okay. Threatening a huge fork now. a6 is still hanging. If they push, I actually have this move first. I still haven't developed this knight on b1 the whole game. My opponent's rooks are also very bad. If I jump in here, my opponent has this move. So they hit my rook now. I could go here. And if they go here, I go here. I could take, but I don't want to sacrifice my rook. I think I just take on a6 here. d5 is hanging now. d5 is hanging. I can't bring my knight to this square now because of the bishop. Okay, so my opponent captures there. I could kick the bishop this way, but doesn't seem to be best. I can develop my knight now. Could develop my knight this way. Although I like bringing my knight here. I could pin this pawn and then play this. This actually seems good. Queen here, because the pawn is pinned. So queen here, knight here. But then that would unpin the pawn, so that would be a big blunder. I could push now. If pawn takes. I'm not sure. I think I just developed my... I think maybe my rook. Just to control the pawn. Then my knight. If bishop here, I just go back. My rook's strong on the a file. I'm hitting this. If they play this to defend, that just seems terrible. I have a check. If they defend with the bishop, I have this move. They push. I don't see the idea behind that. I can just take this. Maybe if they go here. If I take this, I could push. Because my rook is aligned here now, if I push and if they take, I can take. Push takes. That's just an even trade, and I like that. I could push. It also threatens a check. The bishop. If I push, the bishop goes here, but then I have a check. I like pushing a lot here. It takes. If it takes, I can take. Which is actually a fork. If not, I can double my rooks on this bishop. I like e6, I think it's a good move. If bishop here, I have a check first. If bishop here, I can hit the queen though. The queen has to go here maybe. If bishop takes, and I take, and they take. Well, bishop takes, I take, they take, I can take here. Putting so much pressure on this. Bishop here, I could attack the queen. I think this move isn't so good. I mean, I do have a check now. Could take the bishop, and if queen takes. This move is interesting. It discovers an attack on my knight. So takes, let me calculate, takes. So takes, or takes. I can just take back. And then I win this. I can take the bishop, I'm quite sure. Take, if they take my bishop, I can just take. Queen takes, I take here. So, take. This is protected. Queen takes. I can move the bishop or take here. I also have a knight move. Knight here. Knight here seems very interesting. Knight c6 is a crazy move. Knight c6, if queen takes, I take. My bishop's hanging, but then I can take a rook. Knight c6 is just a crazy move which forks the rook and the bishop. And I really want to play it. I am hanging my bishop. And it does seem very dangerous after this push. Wow, knight c6 is such a crazy move. I really want to play it. I'll play knight c6. I'm gambling now. If the queen takes, we recapture. I take a rook. It's very complex. Also, if the queen takes, I just have a check first. And then I can take here. It's very complicated now. I have a bishop hanging. My opponent has a queen, bishop, and rook hanging. My opponent has a pawn, bishop, queen, and rook hanging. They take there. I can take with check first. Take the queen. If pawn takes, I can take with the pawn. I can just double up. I can defend that. I do have back rank problems, so I need to solve them. I'll just play h3 here. I'm happy with the rook trade, to be honest. Takes, takes. I can go back this way. Could also block with my knight to attack this, but no, I just go for this rook trade, I guess. Simplifying is always good. Don't know what to play now. I mean, just developing would seem good, but the rook's in the way. I can actually just push this, I guess. My knight, this check is dangerous though. My knight would hang, so just have to be careful here. If the rook comes in, I have a check, so I can't really go anywhere. And check is okay. I have my own check now. I'm going to attack this. I have a check. If the king goes here, king there. I have this check, then king here. Wow. This is hanging. This check doesn't really work, I think. Check king here. I have this. No, I don't. I can't defend this. I could push, but then takes and it's pinned. This is actually more dangerous than it looks. If the pawn pushes, I could go for this. If the rook takes, it's very complicated. I want to play king up now. Pushing isn't possible. I'm actually quite scared. I don't know what the best move is. It's probably just to get my rook behind the pawn. If they take, I can play this, so if they take, I take, and it's fine. If they push, I take. If the king comes in, I can just take. Defending seems wrong. I can set up a discovery now. I do have this move to hit the rook and then develop my knight, so definitely going for this. If they go for this, if they take, I have probably a move like this. This knight is quite useless right now. They take. I could go here. I could just bring my knight into the game. Now I want to blockade this pawn with my knight. If the rook attacks though, I'm actually in trouble here. I don't know what to play. My king is quite weak. This move, check. I can push, check. Think I can survive. This does look very dangerous though. King in. Is this check? No, there isn't. King in. This check. I can push. Only other check, there is this check. King in, check, push, there's this check, which is just terrible. Knight in. Luckily, if my opponent can't push. If they target my knight, I have this move. If they push, I go here, so that's a blunder, I think. Not really a blunder, but if they attack me, I just go here. And if they push, I go here. Rook e2, I'm playing knight d5, king in. That just gives me a check. I'm going for check. The king comes in again, my knight's so fine. I also have this check. Winning this. The king comes in. Can't come in here. King goes there. This check. I could push myself. Could go for this move. If the pawn ever pushes, I have discoveries. King goes here. Don't know what I'll play. I can stop pushing myself. Maybe I could go here, but then this check looks terrible. But then I can go back. King here, if they play check, I just go here. No, the rook defense. King here, if they play this, I take with check. King there, this is pinned. If they kick me, I can always just take. Could go back to hit the rook. I think I'll just stop pushing now. This knight is locked in. If they push, not sure what I'll do. Can't counterattack, I have to move my knight. Could move my knight here. Just attack this. What about if I go here and they take and I take? I don't think I can give up the knight, I'll just go back here. Hits the rook. They go for this, I go here. Defending this square twice. Or they can actually push now. But no, but the knight takes, so they can't push. I am down on time. Rook there, I have this move. Rook there, can I push? I can't push, I have to play this move. If they go here, I can go here and... pushing now looks good for them. Hitting this pawn if they push. Can I sacrifice a knight? I think I can. I think I can actually sacrifice my knight here. They take, I block, and then I block. Can go for this move. I am threatening a check now. Well, I'm actually threatening checkmate almost. I'm threatening checkmate right now. My rook's stopping the king from escaping. That's a good move. I can just block my... I can just protect my knight and stop pushing. If they push, I just take. I'm using my knight to blockade the pawn. And if the rook does move anywhere, I will have a check. They are looking for this, but I just take. If they push here, I don't have this. Need to be careful here. I have a check now, which almost wins the game. Check now, they have to block. Then after takes. Check now, my knight's hanging after block. If I move my king, I'm also threatening a check, but I'll go for check if they push. Still don't have this move. They have to block. They just take. I can't push. Check seems bad. But the king can't actually go anywhere. So I think I can just push. They take my knight. They can't come in. Check, I just go down. I think if I push, they play this. So I'll stop them. Extremely lucky for me. If the pawn wasn't pinned, it would be mate in 2. The rook leaves. I can push. They push, I promote. And when I promote, I have 2 attackers on this pawn. And it should be a win. The pawn can't move. If the king moves, I just promote. A rook sacrifice doesn't work. I'm still quicker. They push, they promote, but I promote with tempo on this pawn. So if they promote, I take with checkmate. There aren't any checks, the pawn is blocked. They queen. And I take, which is checkmate, and I made this game so much harder to win than it should have been. I was up at 1.7 points of material, I think. Let's look at this game. So I played with a 64, and my opponent played with a 62. I was completely winning the entire game, but at one point I was completely lost. And in the end game I made a move which blundered away the game to a draw. But then my opponent missed something. Let's look at this game. I had 3 blunders this game. It was terrible game from me. We both played like an 800. The opening was very good. I could have actually taken en passant here, which I missed. If I took en passant and they took, I could play this move. But then I'd actually be losing after they castle. So that wouldn't be so good. So they pushed. I put my bishop on a2, which is actually wrong. My queen can come in. Castling's the only good move. I should have played the queen up. They can take. Should have gone queen a4, which looks very good. But the queen is safe on the square. I should have just taken the knight and accepted this bishop check, because then I could block with the knight, but it's fine. Taking the knight was best. This was a terrible move, which gave my opponent a fork. Oh wow. I completely missed that because the rook was defending the square, my opponent had bishop b3. And I'd actually have to give up a full piece, a full rook. Wow, the rook and bishop aligned, but both of us missed it. And then I re-blundered bishop b3. But my opponent missed it again. And actually played a terrible move, which just gives away the knight in one move. And from here I was completely winning. Wow, knight to c6 was actually the best move. If queen takes, I take with check. I actually had the check here. A rook sacrifice, because this was pinned. Wow. I should have looked at this check. Because this pawn was pinned, like I said, I actually just had rook takes, which is checkmate, because the knight and rook made the king with the bishop pinning the pawn. That would be a beautiful checkmate. I'm very annoyed that I missed that. That would be such a beautiful checkmate. Rook takes h6. I take the queen, which is obviously good, but it's not the best move. I retake with the pawn, and I'm up 6 points of material. A rook trade only helps me. And at some point in this endgame, I completely blundered. Yeah, I should have gone for the discovered check. King in there is a terrible move. I missed rook up to attack this, which I should have just gone for. Because they push, I just take. That's a mistake, which gives mate in 2. Wow. That's a huge mistake. I can just take, because if the rook takes, I have this fork, which is actually checkmate because of my rook. I should have seen that. I'm very annoyed I missed just taking, which wins the game. I still had the same idea here. I took this pawn instead, sacrificing my knight, and I'm still completely winning in this endgame. Taking's wrong, I have checkmate in 1, which is just this move. And once again I missed it, just pushing the pawn because the rook cuts off the king. And here I'm completely losing because my knight is hanging. My opponent doesn't take my knight. I push. And I'm completely winning again because I promote with tempo. And finally in the end, I get the checkmate, but I'm actually very annoyed that I missed mate in 1. More than once this game. 3 times this game I missed mate in 1. And my opponent missed a huge fork on my pieces, so in general this game we both played terribly. Our openings were very good, but middle games and end games were terrible. And I get the win, but I'm annoyed that it took so long. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.